Diddy is suing NBC for $100 million, but is it really about defamation or something else? Plus, is Coming to America actually a black classic, or was it really just an average movie? And in relationships, who's the prize, the man or the woman? We dive into it all. This is the Black Club. I'm your host, bnote. Let's get it. If you're not subscribing, hit that sub, hit that like so I get into the algorithm and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. Let's get into our first segment, some news you can use. That boy Diddy, back in the headlines. According to an article from Newsweek.com, Diddy is taking legal action against NBC Universal and the production company Ample. He's accusing the companies of airing false and defamatory claims in their documentary, Diddy, the Making of a Bad Boy. In a $100 million defamation lawsuit, Diddy's legal team argues that the documentary falsely portrays him as a monster, guilty of serious crimes. I ain't gonna get into all the crimes. I'm sure y'all heard about them by now. The lawsuit also claims that the producers compared him to infamous figures like Jeffrey Epstein, stating that Diddy is an embodiment of Lucifer. Damn. An embodiment of Lucifer. They crazy. The lawsuit specifically points to an accusation made in the documentary suggesting Combs' involvement in the 2018 death of his ex, Kim Porter. Oh, now Jaguar Wright said that too. Ain't nobody sued her. I'm just saying. While the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office concluded Porter's death was due to natural causes, the documentary featured comments from Porter's ex, Al B. Sure, who insinuated that Combs had a role in her passing. Diddy's attorney said they tried to warn NBC Universal and Ample about the false nature of the allegations back in December of 2024, but the producers ignored their warnings. They claimed the documentary's airing damaged Diddy's reputation and caused him substantial financial and personal harm, especially as he faces serious charges in his federal sex trafficking trial, which is set to begin May 5th. Diddy maintains his innocence, pleading not guilty to the charges. NBC, Universal, and Ample have yet to respond. Y'all want to know my thoughts on this whole situation? I've actually been covering this since the beginning. When Diddy sued their liquor company, which was the second largest company in the world, everything changed for him. Now, whether that was by coincidence or not, history shows that anytime a black man challenged a major industry like that, they always face some kind of trouble. Am I lying? Out came that Cassie shit, the sex trafficking shit, all that and everything else. Think about it. But none of that came out until after he sued their liquor company. Why was that? Now ask yourself this. What's the difference between Diddy and Hugh Hefner? What's the difference between Diddy's parties and the Playboy Mansion? Now, when you look at it that way, it puts it into a different perspective, right? We as black people got to stop being so quick to condemn our own. We have to. As soon as the media puts some shit out there, we go running with it. And I'm not defending Diddy or nothing like that. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm just saying you got to understand who runs the media. And when you look at it from that point of view, you look at everything totally different. And if you don't know who run the media by now, just ask Kanye. He'll tell you. That dude tweeted for days. But then when you do the research and find things out, you realize some of the shit he was saying was true. Now, some of this shit was out of line. I get that. He did say he was just trying to show everybody that he could push the boundaries and all of that. But some of that shit he said was true. And especially when you look at the slave owners, that's going to tell you right there, because majority of them were people that look like white people. 80%. You have to understand this. The same people controlling the industry control the narratives. That's why black men, anytime they go against that narrative, they seem to face the same type of trouble, which is what? Drugs, rape, sexual assault, and they bring that shit back from 30 years. Tell me I'm lying. It's the same cycle. Now, why is that? Because controlling our image means controlling our influence. Think about it. If they can control our image, they can control what we influence, because everything is about perception in the public eye. We just got to start paying attention. Stop being so quick to turn on our own. Now, if his ass get proven guilty, that's totally different. But until then, we give away too much power. And we allow too much to happen. When I see Diddy suing Universal and Ample, it make me question shit. They say when it comes to the media, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Because if he wins this lawsuit, shouldn't they tell you something? I know one thing. If I know I'm guilty, I'm not finna be wasting time and money trying to sue these companies unless he trying to buy some time, unless he's stalling. Now, y'all know if they didn't take that $50 million he tried to offer him, they either got some rock solid evidence or it's something they're scared of. And the only thing that scare people like that on that elite type of level is the truth. I think it's either one or two things. Diddy is trying to use this as a tactic to buy some time. Or what if he's actually innocent? I mean, not saying innocent, like nothing happened, but I mean the parties. What if it's just everybody was attending these parties? You know what I'm saying? So why single him out and not the rest of Hollywood or not the rest of whoever was there? Why just Diddy? It ain't like he the only one that was throwing these parties. But what if he's actually innocent and they just trying to railroad him? I mean, what if it wasn't nothing? It was just parties. They was just, orgies, all of that. What if that was just the case and they really just trying to do something to railroad him to get back at him for that lawsuit? See, we have to look at it from that way too, because you can believe it's way more than Diddy that's throwing these kind of parties. Why ain't they being targeted? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Why was Diddy the only one being targeted? We as black people got to start finding out what's not being told before we condemn them on what's being told. Because it's always a backstory. Follow the money in any situation and you'll find the truth. I think it's about to get real interesting as we get closer to May. Because I don't see how they can allow this trial to happen. Think about it. If Diddy got all this evidence, if he got all of this that he can put on so many different people, why would you allow that to happen? Something about to go down. Either they gonna make sure that this don't happen, or the people they're gonna allow him to give up so many people who they choose. Maybe it's something ain't right with it, because I can't see them allowing this trial to happen knowing he got all this video evidence of everybody else. Because if I'm Diddy, I'm just finna go Nino Brown on everybody. If I go down, everybody going with me. That's just how I look at it. And you said, you're not finna just railroad me by myself. Yo, check out my new store, the Black Club Store. We've got men's clothes, women's clothes, kids' clothes, even got playing cards for you spades players out there. You can even get a Black Club pet bowl for you pet owners. We love the pets too. And we're still growing. So there'll be more to come. You can go to the Black Club website at theblackclubpodcast.com and click on the Black Club Store. The link is also in the description. So head on over to the Black Club Store and get your Black Club gear today. Now, as we get into our next segment, and as I'm introducing these new segments, I give a brief description of what they're about, what I plan on doing with them. Each one will be different. I'm just trying things out just to see what y'all like. And then I'm going to keep the ones that y'all like and get rid of the ones you don't like. So in this segment, we do a review. This is what I want to do. I want to do reviews of our black movies, our black TV shows, and then go back and see if they were released today, would they still be loved the same way? Would they still be considered classics? Or now that it's a different generation, different mindset, would they just be average movies? So that's what I want to dive into with this segment. I just want to do something that, touches on everything about our black culture and do it in a way that is fun and engaging. So I call this segment Classic or Just Average. Coming to America. I know y'all remember that movie. Coming to America released in 1988. I was just 5 years old. Damn. Based on a story created by Eddie Murphy, a king, the crown prince of Zamunda, comes to America to find his queen. This movie had a hell of a cast too. James Earl Jones, John Amos, Arsenio. It was a lot of people got introduced in this movie. But if it was released today, would you still consider Coming to America a black classic, or would you say it's just an average comedy today? Well, let's review it. The movie starts out with Prince Akeem preparing for a wedding. It's his 21st birthday and it's time to get married. But Akeem don't want to follow tradition and allow his parents, King Jaffe Jaffa, played by James Earl Jones, and Queen Aeolion, played by Mad Sinclair, to choose his wife for him. And I know y'all remember that stand on one leg and bark like a dog scene. The way society is today and how South people done got it, I don't think that would fly too much today. You'd have people crying about misogyny and shit like that. They'd probably take that scene out today. Akeem and Simi, who is basically Akeem's assistant, played by Arsenio Hall, sets off on a trip to Queens, New York, thinking because of the name, he would find him a queen there. But they don't tell nobody where they're going. Now, when they land, you got to understand, they don't know shit about the American ways. So Akeem just friendly as hell. They get their luggage stolen. He let the barber talk him into cutting his ducktail out. And you see a cameo of a young Cuba Gooding Jr. here also. And I know y'all remember that ducktail. Some of y'all might be too young. But if you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, you remember that ducktail. Hell, I had one. Mine had the little beads and the rubber bands at the end and everything. Wasn't as long as his, though. Akeem and Simi find a job working for a McDonald's copycat called McDowell's, owned by Cleo McDowell, played by John Amos. Because Akeem didn't want it to be known he was royalty. He wanted to find a woman to love him for him. Then he met the owner's daughter, Lisa McDowell, who was played by Sherry Headley. But she already had a boyfriend named Daryl, played by Eric LaSalle, who was the heir to the family company called Soul Glow that sold hair care products. Just let your soul glow. You saw everybody in that family had a Jerry curl. Lisa's sister, Patrice McDowell, played by Allison Dean, invited Akeem to go with them to a basketball game. And she was all over his ass at that game. You can tell that sister was the freak, you hear me? The boy had to get up and go to the bathroom just to get up off of him. Then he go to the bathroom and gets recognized by one of the employees who was actually a citizen of Zamunda. So he had to play that off because the dude didn't know he was trying to hide his identity. He just saw the prince and had a chance to take a picture with it. So in his mind, that was the best day of his life. Now Lisa and them see this and they like, what the hell going on? That would have had me wondering too, like, who the hell is this dude? Samuel Jackson makes a cameo as a guy trying to rob the McDowells, but get his ass mopped up easily by Akeem. That gets them invited to the big house, the boss's house. But it wasn't for what they thought. He had them there to work. But I believe this party was the turning event that changed the relationship between Daryl and Lisa. Because this is where Daryl tried to make that engagement announcement without Lisa's approval. He ain't even talked to her about it. So she was pissed. I think that's what opened the door for Akeem. Akeem finally gets a date with Lisa. And on the way to the restaurant, he stops and gives some homeless men some money. This is a callback to a movie named Trading Places that Eddie Murphy played Billy Ray Valentine and Dan Aykroyd as Louis Winthorpe III. And it's about these two billionaire brothers named Randolph and Mortimer Duke who make a bet for $1. They bet that they could trade the lives of Billy Ray and Louis by framing Louis for a crime he didn't commit and hiring Billy in his place. Billy Ray and Louis found out what happened and basically put a reverse Uno card on their ass in the whole situation. Fast forward to Coming to America, and here they are homeless. I thought that was a pretty cool way to pay homage. Now, this whole date, Akeem is telling Lisa about how poor he is and how bad he living. But then they get back to his apartment, and Simi done hooked it up. Plus, Simi got Patrice there, and he told Patrice that he the prince, and Akeem his servant. So now Akeem can't take Lisa in because he done told her all this other shit, and they end up leaving. But it was good because the king and queen shows up after Simi done sent a message saying they need money, and that gave up their location. So the king arrives, and he looking for his son. James Earl Jones played the hell out this role. You can see why they chose him for Mufasa. They find out their son has been working at McDowell's and go there. Now, everywhere the king and queen go, they had these rose petals dropped at their feet. So when they walk on rose petals. Problem is, when they leave, they don't take the rose petals with them. They leave them there for you to clean up. They meet Cleo, and that's when Cleo finds out who Akeem really is. Now, this whole movie, he been treating him and Simi like the yard boys because they told him they was goat herders back in Africa. But now he done find out Akeem got his own money. Everything changed. Now he love Akeem and Daryl gotta go. Cleo invites the king and queen to his house because he know Lisa and Akeem gonna be there, or he was hoping. But then it starts to backfire. Lisa realizes he's acting strange and catches on, makes him tell her what's going on. She feel like she was lied to, which is understandable. When the king and queen arrive, things really start to get heated. King Jaffe goes to talk to Lisa and basically tells her she's not good enough for his son. Tells her that Akeem already got somebody he about to marry back in Zamunda and only came to America to sow his royal oats. Of course, Lisa gets pissed and leaves, but the queen, having that mother's intuition, notices something is wrong with Lisa and asks if she's okay as Lisa's leaving the house. Now, this pisses Cleo off, which it should, because that's his daughter. Hell, I'd be the same way. I don't give a damn if you royalty where you from. In my house, I'm the king. You ain't gonna disrespect my daughter at all. But this is where King Jaffe really gets disrespectful, in my opinion. Because you have to understand, he comes from a different world. In his world, everybody got a price, especially the people he feel like is beneath him. He been up on his high horse in Zamunda for so long, he done forgot what it was like for us regular people. You know what I'm saying? This dude offers Cleo $1 million to buy his daughter off. Then say, nah, since you've been inconvenienced, I'm going to offer you $2 million. Boy, the disrespect. Now, this pisses the queen off, and she tells him to apologize to Cleo. But the king like, hell no, he beneath me and his daughter is too. This is where the nigga come out of Cleo. Cleo like, I don't give a damn who you are. I'll whip your royal ass here in America. You say something else. King Jaffe look at him and say, pardon me? Like, who the hell you think you talking to? Now, this is where things really start to take a turn. Patrice pop out because she hear the arguing. Right at the same time, Akeem and Simi shows up. And Patrice like, the prince ain't in love with Lisa. He in love with me. The queen hugs Akeem. And Patrice like, why you hugging him? He ain't the prince. He the prince. And she pointed at Simi. And everybody look at her like she crazy. And then King Jaffe say, well, who told you that? And she say, Simi. Then everybody turn and look at Simi like he crazy. Akeem finds out what his dad told Lisa. His mom tells him to go after her, of course. Y'all know mama gonna be the one. You know what I'm saying? Akeem catches up with Lisa on the subway and tells her why he lied and that he does love her and will renounce his throne for her. But Lisa like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Akeem decides to go back after feeling like it was a mission failed. But as they're leaving, the king now realizes he got to go back and deal with an angry queen, starts a conversation trying to explain himself. And she like, nah, the way you treated her, hell, I would have said no too. And he was like, even if she said yes, Akeem still can't marry her because it's against tradition. The queen was like, well, it's a stupid tradition. Jaffe says, who am I to change it? Now, this is the part where I believe black women are so important to black men. This little scene right here shows why we need y'all and why y'all need us. Why we as the strength need you as the grace. Her response was just 6 words. 6 words. That's it. That's all it took to get tradition changed forever. When Jaffe said, who am I to change? Queen Eleon said, I thought you were the king. That's it. That's all she said. Just that graceful response was all it took. Then the flower girl in the front turned around like, oh, shit. And that brings us to the last scene, the wedding. And it starts off the same way. Big Boy singing his Queen to Be song, and the bride comes walking down the aisle. This time she has a veil covering her face. And when she gets to the altar, Akeem lifts the veil to realize it's Lisa. Akeem marries her and they ride off as newlyweds. End of the movie. Tradition was changed. Now the question was, if the movie was released today, would it still be considered a black classic or would it just be average? In my opinion, the comedy, the storyline, the characters, I think it would still work today. I think some of the script would have to be changed. You know, obviously they can't say some of the stuff they said back then. But other than that, I rated 8 out of 10. I think it would still be loved by the older generation, by my generation. But the younger generation might just look at it like an average company, and that might be what hurts it in today's time. I don't think they'll view it the same way we did at that age. You know what I'm saying? But I think it would still be a classic though. What y'all think? Y'all think it would still be a black classic, or would it be considered just average? And this don't include the second one. That ain't got nothing to do with this. We just basing this off the first Coming to America. That second one don't count. We'll do that one later or something. And now in this next segment, we have a lot of black heroes that have done a lot of things. Many of them have even said some very inspirational and motivational quotes. A lot of them can deliver some very powerful messages with just a few lines, just a few sentences. I like to highlight those quotes in this segment. Just another way to give our greats the proper flowers they deserve. You know what I'm saying? You have to remember, the show is about black culture. And I feel like it's important to bring awareness to every aspect of our culture, especially our history, before it all gets lost. So I call this segment Quotes from an Icon. Malcolm X was definitely one of those heroes. A human rights activist, a revolutionary in many ways. One of those ways was some of his famous quotes, and I quote, "Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Meaning if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Knowledge, information, it's the key to anywhere you want to go. You just have to want to seek it. Those that seek it prepare themselves for the change that they need to happen. The type of change you want don't just happen. You got to make it happen. It ain't just going to come to you. And that's by educating yourself on whatever change it is you want to make happen. You want to change your financial status? Learn how to invest, learn how to start a business, learn how to create content, learn a trade, learn real estate. Age don't matter, because we all got a cell phone that we walk around with every day. That's all you need to make the change happen that you want. You just got to want it. You have to want to change your mindset. The way you think and view things will have to change. A lot of people ain't really ready for the amount of change that got to happen because they stuck in their comfort zone. A lot of people scared to get uncomfortable. Change requires getting uncomfortable. So that could be scary. I get it. But you're going to have to get over that fear if you want that change. And it all starts up here, educating yourself. 6 months from now, you could be looking back and saying, damn, I'm glad I started. But damn, I wish I would have started. It's up to you.
Do you have a brand or a business that you would like to promote? Drop by the club. Let us share your story your way. Go to the Black Club website at theblackclubpodcast.com and click on Be a Guest. The link will also be in the description. Let us see what kind of magic we can create together.
Now let's switch gears for our last segment. This is where it's unfiltered conversation. A lot of podcasts talk about a lot of problems that we have in the black community, but they don't really offer solutions. They always degrading black men or degrading black women, or both. So this is where I take the time to offer my little 2 cents based on my life's experiences or experiences I've seen other people go through. Call this segment, Let's Be Real. When it comes to relationships, there's this debate about who's the prize. Is it the man? Is it the woman? Is the man the prize or is the woman the prize? Well, let's talk about it. When I think about this question, I look at it like this. Both are supposed to bring equal value to the relationship, right? The man is the provider. The woman is the nurturer. The man is the protector. The woman is the love. The man is the leader. The woman is the guider. There's an equal balance if it's done the right way. Men feel like if they the money maker, they the prize. But what if the woman is the money maker? Some women feel like their sexual appeal makes them the prize. But to a man that's successful, that comes a dime a dozen. So anything each side can argue for what would make them the prize can be countered by an argument against that, right? Everything the man says he bring to the table, everything the woman says she bring to the table can be countered by an argument against that, right? So what should that tell you? The real prize is the relationship. The real prize is the relationship. And that's what I believe people have gotten wrong. We've gotten to a point to where we don't appreciate the relationship itself, only what we can gain or benefit from it. But the relationship should be the benefit, right? The relationship is the reason you even got together in the first place. And if you remember that the relationship is the prize, everything else will fall in line because you have a united vision. You both are focused on the same thing, and that's growing and building the relationship. That's where the bond is formed. Now you put your qualities into that bond. The man lead, provide, and protect. The woman nurture, guide, and love. You add those to the bond of the relationship, and that's where the growth happens. That's the true strength of the Black community. It's always been our relationships with each other. That's where the whole Black community term came from, because of the relationships we shared with each other. That's why unity has always been our strength. We as Black people all have a common cause that's well known, and we used to use that as our strength of unity. But now, for some reason, it seems like that's no longer enough. If we get back to glorifying our relationships with each other, we might can get back to prosperity in some kind of way. Actually get back to seeing progress within the Black community. Problem is, we don't value relationships with each other like we used to, especially if they don't benefit us in a way that we see fit in that moment. So relationships have become less valuable and more transactional. And that's what the problem has become in the Black community. For some reason, everybody want to have an op, and everybody want to be beefing. Everybody want to beef with each other. But when it comes to the real enemy, it's crickets and it's silence. To value a relationship means you have to have loyalty and integrity. And in today's time, money has made everything about individualization. Too many people have become individualized, their way of thinking. So relationships in some way have become obsolete. And that's what have to change. The prize is the relationship, not the individual. Put more value into a stronger bond within your relationship, and you will see better returns. Water your own grass, make your own bed, and sweep around your own front door, and I guarantee you, you will have a cleaner house. Y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss an episode, and I'll leave you with this. If we don't do nothing else on this show, we're going to laugh, we're going to learn, and we're going to love. I'm your host, bnote, and this is the Black Club.